Somewhere in the far south of Japan, the morning sun rises over the sea of Okinawa. An old man steps into his garden. He waters the soil, hums a gentle tune, and smiles, not because of what he has, but because he knows why he lives. His secret isn't wealth. It isn't luck. It's something more profound, something the world has almost forgotten. They call it Ikigai. The quiet reason to wake up in the morning. The invisible thread that ties passion, purpose, and peace together. It's the art of living long and living well. And within its simplicity lies the answer to a question we've all asked at least once. What makes life truly worth living? Today, let's travel into the heart of Japan, to uncover the timeless secret of Ikigai, and how it can change the way you live, forever. Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life. When I first heard the word Ikigai, it sounded like a whisper, a mystery carried on the wind from Japan. A word that felt light, yet profound. I learned that in Japanese, iki means to live, and gai means reason. Together, Ikigai means a reason for being, the quiet purpose that gives meaning to every day, the hidden heartbeat of a fulfilled life. For years, I chased happiness like something distant, a mountain peak I could reach if I worked hard enough. But as I began exploring Ikigai, I realized that joy doesn't wait at the summit, it lives in the climb itself. It breathes in our small daily rituals, in the people we love, in the work that flows effortlessly through our hands. So I set out on a journey, to understand how ordinary people in Japan, particularly in a small island called Okinawa, live long, healthy, and joyful lives. I wanted to know what they knew, what secret melody guided their hearts. The whisper of purpose. The first morning I arrived in Okinawa, the air was soft and full of light. The sea shimmered like glass, and laughter drifted from a small village square. Here, people live longer than almost anywhere else on earth. Many are over 100 years old, yet they still wake early, tend their gardens, walk to market, and share tea with friends beneath the banyan trees. As I spoke with them, I noticed something radiant in their faces, a calmness that can't be faked. They were not chasing success or battling time. They were living with purpose, their Ikigai. One woman told me she still wakes every morning before dawn to weave cloth by hand. I've done this since I was a girl, she said. When my hands move, I feel alive. Another man, over 90, cared for his garden every day, pruning and planting, humming softly to his vegetables as if they were children. They need to feel love, he smiled. And so do I. I realized something profound, these people never retired from life. They simply kept doing what gave them joy, even if it was small. Their Ikigai was not found in ambition, but in devotion. And it struck me, perhaps our purpose isn't something we must find somewhere out there. Perhaps it's already within us, waiting quietly beneath the noise. The secret of longevity. I began to see patterns everywhere. Okinawans share certain habits that seem almost ordinary, yet they hold extraordinary power. They eat lightly, simple meals of vegetables, tofu, fish, and rice. They practice hara hachibu, which means eat until you are 80% full. It's not just a diet rule, it's a lesson in mindfulness. They listen to their bodies, they stop before excess, and they respect balance in everything. They move daily, not with intensity, but with grace. They walk, garden, dance, and practice gentle martial arts like Tai Chi or Radio Taiso. Their movement isn't forced, it's woven into life. And perhaps most importantly, they belong to close-knit communities called moai, small circles of friends who support each other emotionally and financially throughout life. They share meals, laughter, and burdens. In loneliness, they find connection. In connection, they find strength. Science often measures health by numbers, heart rate, blood pressure, weight. But here, health seemed to come from something invisible, from purpose, belonging, and gratitude. One centenarian told me, when you have people to love, and something to do that matters, you wake up smiling. I began to write these lessons down, not as rules, but as gentle truths. Eat lightly. Move gracefully. Stay curious. Connect deeply. And always, always have something to live for. The flow of life. In Okinawa, I noticed something enchanting, a sense of flow in everything people did. They didn't rush. They didn't multitask. When they cooked, they cooked. When they listened, they truly listened. This reminded me of the concept of flow, described by psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, that state when you're completely absorbed in what you love, when time disappears, and all that exists is the present moment. I started looking for my own flow. When I write, time dissolves. When I walk in nature, the noise in my mind fades. When I share tea with a friend, my world feels lighter. That's flow, and that's where Ikigai often hides. The authors of the book write that people who find flow are not motivated by money or fame, they are pulled forward by curiosity and joy. They choose to do what makes them feel alive, not what others expect. I realized how easy it is to drift away from that. We rush to meet deadlines, check notifications, and chase validation. But in doing so, we lose touch with the quiet rhythm that gives meaning to our days. In Okinawa, I learned to slow down. I watched a fisherman repair his nets at the harbor, his movements patient and precise, each knot a meditation. He told me, when I work like this, I forget time. The ocean and we breathe together. The joy of simplicity. Ikigai is not about adding more to life. The people of Okinawa live by the beauty of simplicity. It's about subtracting the unnecessary. Their homes are only what truly matters. Their meals modest, their days unhurried. They find joy in the ordinary, a cup of green tea, a morning stretch, a shared meal with friends. They don't accumulate things, they accumulate moments. I began to see how simplicity opens space for happiness. When we let go of what we don't need, possessions, toxic relationships, expectations, we make room for peace. One evening, I joined a family for dinner. The grandmother, almost 100 years old, poured tea with trembling hands but eyes full of sparkle. As we ate, we talked about everything and nothing, the weather, the sea, a story from her childhood. When the meal ended, she said softly, "I have everything I need, a meal, my family, the sound of the waves." That night, as I walked home under the stars, I felt something shift inside me. Happiness, I realized, isn't built from grand achievements. It's born in the quiet satisfaction of enough. Resilience in the face of life. No life is free from hardship. Okinawans, too, have faced war, poverty, and loss. Yet their resilience is astonishing. When asked how they endure so much, one old man told me, "Like bamboo, we bend, but we don't break." That image stayed with me. Bamboo is strong because it's flexible. It sways with the wind but never loses its root. In the same way, the people here accept life's changes with grace. They don't fight the seasons, they move with them. They don't fear aging, they embrace it as a privilege. This acceptance is part of Ikigai too. It's the understanding that joy and sorrow are threads of the same fabric, both essential, both beautiful. I realized I'd spent much of my life trying to control everything, outcomes, timelines, expectations. But in control, I found tension. In acceptance, I found peace. To live with Ikigai is to trust life, to flow with it, not against it. The 4 Circles of Ikigai. At the heart of this philosophy lies a simple, beautiful model, 4 overlapping circles representing what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. Where these circles meet, you find your Ikigai. When I first tried to fill in my own circles, it felt confusing. I listed passions, skills, dreams. But slowly, I noticed patterns, small points of light where these circles touched. I realized that my Ikigai was not one thing, it was the harmony between them. It wasn't about chasing a single dream, but living each day aligned with what I value, what I contribute, and what brings me joy. Sometimes, our Ikigai changes as we grow. For a mother, it may be nurturing her children. For an artist, it may be creating beauty. For a teacher, it's awakening curiosity. The key is to keep listening, to the quiet pull of what feels right. The spirit of community. Okinawans live close to one another, not just in space, but in spirit. Their sense of moai, a lifelong circle of mutual support, weaves safety and love into daily life. They check on each other, share food, celebrate together, and mourn together. No one is ever truly alone. When I asked one woman how she stays so positive, she said, "Because someone always needs me." It struck me, purpose often lives in service. When we help others, we heal ourselves. In modern life, we often isolate. We hide behind screens, drown in comparison, and forget the power of human connection. But community gives us meaning, identity, and belonging. Maybe our Ikigai is not just what we do for ourselves, but what we give to others, the kindness we offer, the love we share, the difference we make quietly in someone's day. The art of never retiring. One of the most beautiful lessons I learned was this. The people of Okinawa don't retire. There's no word in their language that means to stop working forever. Instead, they keep contributing, in small, joyful ways. A fisherman still repairs nets. A teacher still shares wisdom. A gardener still plants seeds. They remain useful, not for obligation, but for fulfillment. It made me question the way we see work and age. We chase rest as if it's the reward for surviving life. But here, activity itself is joy. Purpose doesn't end when a career ends. Ikigai reminds us that the heart needs to stay engaged, to keep creating, serving, learning. When you have a reason to get up each morning, you never truly grow old. Gratitude and presence. Every morning in Okinawa begins with gratitude. People thank the sun for rising, their ancestors for watching over them, their food for nourishing them. Gratitude, I learned, is not an act, it's an atmosphere. It changes how you see everything. I began practicing it myself, thanking small things, the sound of rain, a kind message, the taste of tea. Slowly, my days felt fuller. Time seemed gentler. Because gratitude anchors us in the present. When I finally left Okinawa, I carried more than notes and memories. Gratefully, I carried a new rhythm inside me with beauty. I stopped measuring life by milestones. I started measuring it by meaning. My Ikigai is not something I found and kept, it's something I continue to nurture, through my work, my connections, my small acts of joy. I no longer ask, what do I need to do to be happy? Instead, I ask, what can I do today that feels alive? Sometimes it's writing. Sometimes it's helping someone. Sometimes it's just watching the sunset. And in those moments, I feel what the people of Okinawa have always known, that purpose is not found in grand answers, but in the small, steady heartbeat of the present. The timeless lesson. Ikigai is not a secret meant to be discovered, it's a path meant to be walked. Live lightly. Love deeply. Move gracefully. Give generously. And stay curious. These are not rules, they are reminders of what it means to be alive. We all have an ikigai, something that waits quietly for us to notice it. It might not shout, it might whisper. But it's always there, in the work that fulfills us, the people who love us, and the simple moments that make us feel at peace. When you find it, or rather, when you start living it, life stops feeling like a race. It becomes a dance. And maybe that's the secret to a long and happy life. Not to live faster, but to live truer. Not to chase happiness, but to invite it into the ordinary. As the old Okinawan saying goes, only stay alive if you can still love. And perhaps that's what ikigai really means. To keep finding reasons, no matter how small. To wake up in the morning. Smile at the sun. And whisper, I am alive, and that is enough. As the day fades and the sun sinks below the horizon, life in Okinawa continues softly, slow, peaceful, full of quiet joy. The people there aren't chasing time, they're flowing with it. They laugh often. They eat slowly. They move gently. And they live with purpose. Because they've discovered something we're all searching for, a reason to live that never fades. Your ikigai may not be found in grand achievements or faraway dreams. It may be waiting in the smallest moments, in the warmth of morning light, the sound of laughter, the work that brings you joy. The secret to a long and happy life isn't hidden in years, it's found in meaning. So ask yourself, gently, what is the reason you wake up each day? Find that reason, nurture it, live it. And like the people of Okinawa, you'll discover that happiness was never something to chase. It was already within you, all along. If this message touched your heart, take a moment to share it with someone who needs a little light today. And if you'd like to keep walking this journey of purpose and peace together, remember to like, subscribe,